Am I the butthole for refusing to cook for my boyfriend's daughter even though she had a breakdown? I have been dating this guy, Mark, who has a 14-year-old kid, Jennifer, for a while now. I have only met her a couple of times, so we aren't that close. I started seeing her often after I moved in with Mark, during his custody time. We get along fine and I think we are bonding well. There is just one issue. Since I grew up in poverty, I hate wasting food. Jennifer has an issue with food. I am not talking about being a little cranky when hungry. She would cry and scream and even break things if dinner gets delayed by half an hour. During her last visit, work was very hectic for me and Mark. Mark had to go to office while I WFH. Since I knew how busy I would be end of day and how Jennifer gets, I woke up early, prepared breakfast, lunch and dinner. I informed her the same. End of day, I am in so many meeting and calls and Jennifer barged in 15 past her dinner time and told me serve her dinner. I reminded her that the dinner was in the fridge and all she had to do was heat it up. She comes back 15 minutes later and told me that she threw the food away and now she wanted me to give her a snack for the time being and make her something else. I told her that I am not going to do that and then locked myself inside the study. I could hear her screaming and crying and I refused to give in. Once my work was done, 2 hours later, she was still crying. She never heated the dinner. She tried it cold, didn't like it, threw the entire dinner for 3 away and then started demanding me for a freshly cooked dinner. She begged me to cook her something and I told her that I already did cook her something and that she threw it away. I told her she can either cook for herself or wait until her father comes home and he can cook for her. I went to bed hungry as I was so tired. Next day, Mark told me that he didn't get home until midnight and she was still sobbing when he arrived. Although he agrees that Jennifer was acting entitled, he also says that I should have just cooked her something once my work was done as I knew about her food issues instead of letting her cry for hours. I got pissed off and told him that I am not cooking for either of them anymore. Am I the butthole here? Edit. She isn't diagnosed with anything. NTA, barring any serious special needs, this should have been nipped in the bud years ago. I could cook my own dinner, a basic grilled cheese, at 8 or 9. I certainly wouldn't throw away food enough for 3 people. Sometimes there has to be a harsh lesson that the world doesn't revolve around you. ETA, I say this as someone who gets panic attacks from the sugar drop when I don't eat. I quite like a fried egg sandwich. A fried egg between 2 pieces of toast. One of the great foods, thumbs up, smiley face. There is something so wondrously simple about an egg sandwich. I will say that brioche bread is amazing for them though. Lightly toasted, it gets just a little sweet to complement the salt and pepper added to the egg. So nice. You bastards. Now I'm hungry. You use toast for your fried egg sandwich? Is it good? I use when I make one, my bread is straight out of the bag. It's so much better on toast than plain bread. So much better. Definitely going to try it. Out of curiosity, do you like your eggs runny for the sandwich? Must have runny yolk. I break it and spread it on the bread like butter. Yummy yolk in every bite. Yeah, unless I'm missing something that doesn't sound like food issues. It sounds like child who has never been given boundaries. She's 15, she can fry an egg or use a microwave. No healthy teenager is throwing screaming hours-long tantrums over food, boundaries or no boundaries. There's either a mental health issue here or an undiagnosed developmental/sensory disorder. Exactly. At the risk of being an armchair psychologist, I first thought the daughter must be special needs or on the spectrum. Food issues mean allergic reactions or digestion problems. Multi-hour tantrums are, at best, a sign that the daughter is extremely spoiled. This girl needs to see a therapist. She needs a behavioral assessment stat. It sounds like she's on the spectrum, and if so, how many other areas of her life is she not getting proper care because no one understands that she's not neurotypical? NTA, but the boyfriend sure is. If my daughter were to throw away food for 3 that she neither paid for nor cooked, I'd be livid. She'd be grounded for a month. This girl's parents have seriously dropped the ball. The kid is either horribly spoiled or needs therapy like yesterday. I'm going to go with both spoiled and in need of therapy. Yeah, she's 14. The window to properly parent this out without therapy has passed in my opinion. That level of spoiled needs assistance, and several hours of crying over food that she threw away speaks volumes about the need for therapy. Considering she cried till midnight, I'm going to say therapy. 14 is old enough to understand good food tastes bad cold and portion and microwave some of it. Her dad sees her occasionally. He's not going to ground her during his little time, and the mom certainly isn't going to ground her, or it would have been handled by now. The only solution is for Original Post to move on. It's not worth her disrupting her work from home over the girls' tantrums. Exactly. What the F is going on here? Is this kid 14? Seriously? Imagine throwing away food for 3 people because you can't be bothered to heat it up, at 14. I can't imagine what my mom would have done if I tried that. It's insane. My mom always told me she isn't the goddamn Golden Tulip Hotel. We eat what she makes, or we can use the 2 hands God gave us to make something for ourselves. And my girlfriend wonders how it is that I eat almost everything. NTA, and I say that as someone who is similar to the daughter. I was not self-sufficient and capable of feeding myself until my mid/late 20s. And I had more than one breakdown, way past reasonable age too, over food. There's some underlying thing going on with the kid that needs to be addressed. I don't know what it is her for, but anxiety and depression were contributing to my inability to grow up. There's no reason she should be acting that way if everything is fine. Even the most spoiled child, that seems extreme. She needs help for something, and her parents need to realize that and address whatever is causing these food issues. You aren't the bad guy. She had options and threw a fit instead. Going to bed hungry is what she deserves for that. It might help her realize what an idiot she was. But her parents should definitely consult with a professional over these behaviors. NTA. Is she okay? Having a meltdown at 14 because food is a little late is quite extreme. And to still be sobbing by midnight. Maybe she needs therapy? Edit. For the record, I never suggested she might be neurodivergent. Breaking things, screaming and crying because your food is a little late at the age of 14 isn't healthy in the slightest. Dad needs to sort something out, especially if things are the same at her mom's. I agree. If she has such a rigid eating schedule, there is probably something else going on. NTA, Original Post edit, rigid not ridged, lol. I know this gets thrown around here too much, but could she possibly be on the spectrum? This story suggests that she lacks emotional regulation skills and social/practical skills as well. I'd get her checked out, to be honest. Needing to stick to a strict schedule can be a symptom of ASD, too. Plus, as someone with ASD, I can also attest that being hungry makes sensory processing issues feel way more intense. So when Jennifer tried the cold food in her panic, it probably kicked her off way worse. She already felt stressed by the late dinner/routine change, then she's hungry, maybe her shirt is a little itchy, and then she tries to eat the cold food because panic time. And then it pings her brain no. And suddenly it's a catastrophe. I know I'm armchairing here, but hopefully this gives some perspective. If I had a recommendation, it might be for Jennifer to learn a bit of meditation to calm down when the routine changes, and then make a fail-safe backup routine. Like for me, with my food aversions, sometimes I just cannot get most foods down, but there's this one pasta I can always tolerate. So, we have some of that pasta pre-cooked in the fridge always, so I can microwave some if I am literally getting stabbing hunger pains. Just a little pasta so I can raise my blood sugar and refocus. Maybe there's a granola bar that Jennifer really likes, and when dinner is going to be late, Original Post or Dad can say have your granola bar and then plan how you're going to take care of dinner. I'll be done in 30 minutes. Microwave the lasagna. Might help her get past the F I'm hungry this is an emergency mode better. I have ASD as well, and I know it works different for everyone, but I really don't get how people survive without a backup. I know I have extreme reactions to certain situations, so I always try to pay attention and have a backup plan when I know those situations may arise. What you said about the granola bar makes perfect sense, and it is really hard for me to understand why they hadn't thought of something similar before. I know I have to go prepare/look for food at least 30 minutes before I want to eat, so if I don't like what we have, I have time to make scrambled eggs or pasta, otherwise I get meltdowns. On the other hand, my family is very autistic friendly, and although I think I developed these strategies for very early on, I probably had a lot of help from both my parents. Yeah, my sensory issues get really bad if I'm hungry, and I literally can't cook or even think coherently if I wait until I'm hungry. In my adult life, I can handle that by making lots of leftovers and cooking something new prior to running out, but if someone eats my leftovers without telling me and I'm left hungry with nothing prepared, it can trigger a pretty bad meltdown. For this reason, I do a lot better living alone or with housemates who don't share food. I'd rather cook for myself and always know what I have available to me than sometimes cook for myself and sometimes have someone cook for me, but not be able to guarantee that food will be available to me the moment I get hungry. Not excusing this girl's awful behavior, but I think it merits at least an assessment for ASD. Jennifer also needs to learn life skills, like how to heat food in the microwave or make a sandwich. If she had the ability to feed herself, none of this would have happened. Her parents dropped the ball not teaching her to feed herself, whether she's on the spectrum or not. I can accept all that, but I cannot accept throwing meals in the trash. Those were not her carefully prepared dishes to dump in the garbage, and I can't believe it even crossed her mind that she could do that, let alone actually do it. I would never have dared to do something so aggressively nasty and wrong when I was growing up. I would have been grounded forever after a piece of crap move like that. But it would never happen in the first place. Unreal. I really like the way you worded this. I don't mean to sound ignorant, but I genuinely cannot understand one thing. If she tried the food cold, and didn't like it, at 14 years old, why would her reaction to being overwhelmed and upset by her hunger then be to throw away a meal for 3 people instead of using a microwave, which I am extremely confident she would know how to use? It can also be a symptom of OCD, and maybe other anxiety disorders. People with ADHD also rely on strict schedules. NTA, she threw the food away. You are not her cook or maid to do what she wishes. Unless she has a medically diagnosed problem, throwing away food for 3 people cannot be condoned when both of you are working. That said, why is Mark enabling her behavior? Does he expect you or himself to cook for her entire life? It's also very concerning that she spent half the night crying over this. A normal 14-year-old would look in the freezer for ice cream. I suspect it's more about control than it is about food. This is exactly it. She's used to getting whatever she wants if she throws a big enough fit, and now a normal person isn't playing along and it has her distressed. A baby throws a screaming and crying fit until its needs are met. She's just doing it at 14. I'd say it's less of a food problem and more of a developmental problem. Call a therapist ASAP. Imagine her being in college and she has classes in her eating hours and the teacher won't let her eat. What's she going to do? Throw a tantrum because she can't eat in class? NTA. She'll just throw the teacher away. I just imagined her yeeting an old woman and on cackling. This happens when parents look at each interaction in a vacuum and are lazy enough to always go with whatever's easiest. Giving a bratty kid what they want is easier than dealing with a tantrum, but parenting a bratty kid is easier than dealing with 20+ years of tantrums. It's really very simple. Don't ever reward behavior you don't want repeated. Corollary, make sure you do reward behavior you do want. Sometimes you don't notice because that behavior is the piece you should have had all along, but be sure to reward it anyway. Mom of 2 here, I never understood this. It is way easier to ignore the crying. I don't know, I do have a talent to tune people/things out. 100%. Attempting to manipulate and control. This isn't about her crying because she's hungry and helpless. This is about her crying for hours after trying to manipulate the situation so that you have to serve her, then when that didn't work, so that you have to cook the family another meal. That didn't work either. Good on you, Op. Edit, NTA. Let's be honest, dinner gets delayed and my 2-year-old starts looking in the cupboards for the peanut butter. This kid is not okay. My 2-year-old grabs the box of crackers and runs, lol. I had to reread this 4 times until it did not say my 2-year-old grabs the box of crackers and rum lol. Either way, sounds ahead of his/her age, congrats. Hell, a meal gets delayed and my 10-month-old starts trying to lift my shirt up to nurse. Kids know where and how to get their food. Yup, mine figured out how to climb the pantry shelves to get to graham crackers at 18 months. There is no reason for an able-bodied 14-year-old to not be able to get a snack for herself. I did too as a kid, or whatever quick snack I could as a child without getting in the way while my parents cooked. She must have been extremely sheltered to not make a connection hungry equals fridge/cupboard. She knew food was in the fridge, considering she threw the whole meal away. My 2-year-old just go to sleep at the table instead. Or eat all the vegetables we have out. Right? I don't ever cook breakfast or lunch, and I occasionally skip cooking dinner. I tell my teens to fend for themselves if I don't feel like making an elaborate dinner, and they both make a meal without any drama. Sometimes they even cook for their younger siblings to help me out. I can't imagine having such a controlling kid. Thank you for watching. If you like our videos, please like them on YouTube. And share them with your friends. Please subscribe to be the first to know about Red Rabbit Reader's new videos. We welcome your comments below. Another of our videos will begin shortly.